HBO's The Last of Us returns with a new season on Max. Every path has a price. 5 years after the events of the first season, Joel and Ellie are drawn into conflict with each other in a world even more dangerous than the one they left behind. CNN calls The Last of Us exquisite, fully realized, and worthy of the hype. The new season of the HBO original series, The Last of Us, premieres April 13th on Max. And listen to the official The Last of Us podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Since you're new to H&R Block, we'll look at your returns from the last 3 years for any money your last guy might have missed, for free.
I could get money back from last year?
You could. We'll find any mistakes.
Could have really used that 2 years ago when I dated that mistake for 5 months.
Don't leave money on the table. Switch to H&R Block and get a free Second Look review. Second Look is included at no additional cost with the purchase of tax preparation. Results vary. All tax situations are different. Fees apply if you have us file an amended return.
Go. Sleep badly. Any questions, hesitate to call.
Bad.
Excuse me?
Sleep bad. Because otherwise it makes it seem like the mechanism that allows you to sleep.
What? Fuckhead? Badly's an adverb. Who taught you grammar? Get out. Vanish.
Hello and welcome to Unequal Sequel. My name is Dave and I'm one of the two hosts of this relaxing podcast.
And my name's Rich and I'm the other host of this relaxing podcast. You can think of me as Gay Perry to Dave's Harry Lockhart because he never shuts up and I kind of want to kill him but also love him at the same time.
Very true. The premise of Unequal Sequel is very simple. We ask our guests their best ever sequel, their worst ever sequel, and finally their dream sequel.
And of course, sometimes we drift off and talk about other things. Sometimes movies, sometimes just life in general.
And sometimes we do drop big fat spoilers to movies you haven't seen. So if you don't want us to ruin them, go away, trim your nostrils hairs, come back, it'll all be fine. Because on today's episode, we are joined by Stuart Laws.
Stuart is a brilliant stand-up comedian. He is one of the best stand-up comedians in the country at the moment. I absolutely love him. Go and check out his special on YouTube now. It's absolutely free. It's called Is That Guy Still Going? And it's hilarious. Go and listen.
Yeah, because we're very excited to sit down with Stuart and chat all things sequels with him.
These are Stuart Laws' Unequal Sequels. Enjoy.
What is the first sequel you remember seeing and getting excited about?
Well, I think the first sequel I remember seeing, I actually saw before the original.
Always the way.
And I wonder if there's a few people in my age bracket who might have the same sort of one. It's Terminator 2.
That's a great shout. I definitely saw it before the original. I don't know about you, Dave.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, it's less violent in a way. I think some parents thought maybe this is a safer option than the original Terminator, which is more like a horror film.
Yeah, and it definitely so when would I have watched it? I would have watched it probably like a couple of years after it came out. So I would have been like 10 maybe. Perfect. When I saw it. It was a perfect sort of time. And then I think pretty much like wanting to watch the prequel, the original, as soon as possible. But I remember my dad taped Terminator off of the TV so I could watch it. He did this a lot with films, and he would pause the recording for any bits that he thought was a bit too risque for me. And it was never violence. Okay. He was always okay with violence, but it was sex scenes.
Oh. So,
right, okay.
So Arnie's bum, was that too much for you and your dad?
Actually, I got to see Arnie's bum, yeah, but I didn't know that, who John Connor's dad was for a long time. I didn't know about the time leap aspect of it for a long time.
So how long until you watched Terminator after Terminator 2, do you think?
I imagine I would have pushed it to watch it pretty soon after. Definitely would have seen them before I was 12. And I remember seeing Predator as well around that time. That was when I was really started. So it was like 94, 95 when I was really getting into movies. And then, end of 96 was when I started buying Empire magazine. Yeah. I remember that. It was the December 96 issue when I started. And then I bought every single one for like 5 years.
So you, into movies early. Did you annoy your dad a lot to let you watch those movies? Or was he a soft touch?
I think he wanted me to watch like older movies. Like he liked, he had what was the Carnival of Souls he really loved. which is like an old 50s sort of like Twilight Zone type movie, basically. It's the sort of thing that, if they come out now, I'm there straight away, because I love those sort of like, here's an idea, let's just play it out, see what happens. So there was a few of it. There was one that came out recently that was in that sort of ballpark. I can't even remember now. Where you just go, this is essentially a Twilight Zone episode, or like Black Mirror.
Yeah, there's been a few of those.
Black Mirror is a very in, that kind of Twilight Zone films are very in at the moment. So where did that...
Oh, do you know what it was? It was Companion.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched it yet. Is it good?
Absolutely perfect. What you want from it. B-movie, genre pick, does all the beats, nice script, good performances. It is everything I want from going to the cinema.
Oh, wicked. Good recommendation. And when you were young, is that from that age, and your dad, is that how you got into movies? Was it from your dad? Or did you find it yourself, or friends?
I don't really know, because as a side point, like I wasn't ever, like my parents were never into football, but I got hugely into football.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember them being hugely into films. Like the first time we went to the cinema, I was 10, and I think that's quite old to be going to the cinema for the first time. We were given the choice between The Lion King and The Mask. And,
what a weekend.
Chose The Mask.
Oh, okay. Good choice. Did you have you have video store before then, like VHS rental?
Yeah, we didn't really do that sort of thing. We'd occasionally have something taped from the TV, or we would get like like a hand-me-down tape or something like that. We just didn't really have. It wasn't like we'll sit around and watch something aside from like Baywatch or Generation Game or whatever was on TV. It wasn't like and now it's time to watch a movie. It's definitely like, I'm going to say it, I'm going to put it out there, one of the least cultured family upbringings in history.
Did you have brothers or sisters? Did anything help you along the way?
Yeah, I had a sister. I guess they were trying to encourage us to read more. I think that was maybe a part of it. Okay. But like, that sort of, the pandemic torpedoed to any sort of dreams I had of being a reader. That's gone, isn't it? Yeah. No one reads books.
No. Yeah.
I'll listen to a book every now and then, but that's because a friend has written a book, and I'm like, well, I've got to fucking listen to this, because otherwise I'm going to be in a conversation with them, and they're going to just be, soft dropping in things like, of course, when I released my book recently, and I'll be like, oh yeah, and I know what was on page 200.
You also might get a mention, Stu, in some of them.
You never know.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
So it's better to listen to them.
I think I mentioned in 3 books. That's pretty
good.
Nice.
That is good. Yeah.
So where did the creative side of yourself come from, if that was your childhood kind of thing?
I don't know. I have literally no idea. The more I think about it, the more I'm just like, there was no culture going on in the house. What was it? I wanted to make films from so early on, and so I just obviously saw like things like Back to the Future. I remember being desperate to watch Jurassic Park and not being, didn't go in the cinema, obviously, but like my friend was rich, and I remember he would get every VHS, and I remember like getting to watch, like he had multiple copies of Mrs. Doubtfire. This is how rich this family was, that they'd bought it and then bought it again because they'd forgotten they'd bought it.
Wow. Okay.
And I nabbed that one because I was like, I'm going to watch that. And obviously Pierce Brosnan plays a character called Stu in it, where they say it's more of a thick soup than a name. And I'm like, that's my name. I'm more of a thick soup than a name. I can't believe it. And remember, like when he got Jurassic Park on VHS, me being like, right, this is my chance to watch it. And it being absolutely mesmerising.
That's amazing.
I feel really bad for you that you didn't get to see Jurassic Park in the cinema.
It is genuinely. I have seen it in the cinema since, so the 25-year release. Yeah. But like, oh my God, imagine seeing Jurassic Park without seeing any trailers, not knowing anything about it. Obviously, there's some clues in the name of it.
Yeah. It was a good moment watching it.
It was amazing. Yeah, I watched it on holiday. I remember we were on holiday. And my mum was like, we're going to go to the cinema. I think she was fed up with us, to be honest. She's like, we'll go to the cinema. What about dinosaurs? We're like, all right.
Spoiler. That's a spoiler, Mum.
That is a spoiler.
It's about a theme park. No more.
It gave me nightmares, Stu. It really fucked me up for a while, Jurassic Park. Long story short.
Really? Because you're a businessman?
Yeah, I'm a tax guy.
You're like, oh, if I...
Always wanted to be the lawyer.
I was at that point in my life, I was in hospital. Not a sad story. I was having an operation on my leg, and it was quite a serious one. And
wow.
Eventually I was allowed to go home for the weekends. It was like being in prison a little bit. So they'd send me home for the weekends.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
mum and dad always try and make the weekends really special. And I remember on the way home, because we lived in Stortford and stopped off at Harlow on the way to Stanmore, that went to Jurassic Park. But I was in a wheelchair at the time, and it was so busy. Like, everyone wanted to see it. I was in the disabled bay, and then my parents had to go and find seats, because this was the point where you couldn't, it was just get in there and go.
Just turn up, yeah.
So they left me to it.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, it was a good old, if you're disabled, you just get it. We put you in there, but then you got to find your own way.
Absolutely fucked me up. Like,
Superb
really
stuff
scared
from the
me.
90s.
Parents came out at the end. Do you enjoy that? And I was like, did you not hear me screaming?
You're on day release from prison.
They wheeled me back to the nurses, and then they apologised to the nurses. And then, we're like, we might have made a mistake there. He's yours now for the next week. So,
I love the idea of you treating hospital like prison, like going up to the biggest, patient in there and just beating the shit out of them, letting them know that this is your hospital now.
yeah, well, the kids were in trouble. A lot of them were in wheelchairs, but we did have races. That was exciting, and sword
exciting.
fights with crutches and stuff like that. But
Wow.
yeah.
Well, am I allowed to ask what the injury or condition that you were?
Well, I've got I think it's called Ollier disease. And I've got lumps and bumps to grow off my bones, or I had lumps and bumps to grow off my bones. But once I've stopped growing, they've stopped growing. Still dreaming of 6 foot though. And at that point, my left leg was growing shorter. No, my right leg was growing shorter than my left leg by quite a bit. So I had to put a big metal bar on my leg, and they had to turn it 3 times a day. So they pins in, broke my leg, and they had to stretch my leg basically.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is traumatic. That is a traumatic thing to go
and then
through.
it goes wrong, and my bone reformed itself. So when my dad was trying to stretch my leg, it was pretty much breaking my leg again. And that hurt.
Wow, I'm so
That's
sorry.
all right.
They've had quite a childhood.
Genuinely, as someone who has experienced a lot of bone breaks, that is like what you've got there is like the Patreon exclusive of bone breaks. Where it's like the members area, like this is next level bone breaks. And how did Unbreakable sit with you?
Fine. I've never broken any other bones in my body, touch wood. Apart from the doctors breaking for them, like that leg, then a couple of knees have seized up and stuff like that. But that's all old stuff. But
that's aging.
That's pretty much the period where I found movies, because in the hospital, all I did was watch movies. And Coronation Street, but that's because the nurses, just the only thing they wanted to watch. And we only had one TV between like 25 people, 30 people. So
you're there just being like, hey, what about Rashomon?
Yeah, come on, guys.
Well, Coronation Street's doing something where they're telling the same story from 3 different angles this week.
But yeah, but Jurassic Park, you should have seen it. What about the sequels? Have you gone back?
Well, look, I've got that is the answer to this as well. If you were to push me for a more specific, it's the first sequel I saw in the cinema.
Wow,
with The Lost World.
We are joining the dots. And
we're joining.
Is that the bit when you found
out
sequels and films can be bad, or did you enjoy it at that age?
No, I loved The Lost World, and like the thing is, Jurassic Park is a masterpiece of everything comes together in such a perfect way. The script is incredible, the performance is incredible, blah 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 blah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
The Lost World is not perfect. None of the other sequels are perfect, but they all have dinosaurs in, so they get to 3 stars immediately.
Okay. Is that how you?
Okay.
Is that how you rate all your films?
Even the last one.
The last one really pushes that theory, but it's why I always have dinosaurs in my stand-up shows.
Okay,
gets to 3 stars straight away.
Nice.
You have to remind people who are rating it. It's got a dinosaur.
Get a little plastic brontosaurus on the stage.
Yeah.
What about the new one? You looking forward to that?
Look, no, I'm not. It looks bad. It looks bad. But I will be there day
3
one.
stars.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I tell you what, the director, I have faith in the director.
Yeah, he's Gareth Edwards. He's a good guy.
Yeah, great director, really interesting, and like that says to me that it could be something, and maybe it's just a bad trailer, because bad trailers exist, as you're...
Yes.
The opposite. If the opposite is true, then bad trailers exist.
There's nothing worse than a great trailer and a terrible movie. Like I hate it.
I got that answer for you.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Stu, what is your best ever sequel?
Look, for me, it's The Bourne Supremacy.
Great pick.
It's a great choice.
Great pick.
I watched it this morning and I really enjoyed it.
It really is. Like, Bourne Identity is a real good, solid film. Like, really, like, loads of real fun elements to it. But Supremacy is where it suddenly you go, oh, they've really fully, like, they've not only realized that the first one was a hit for very specific reasons, but then they've, like, grasped those specific reasons and then built on it in a way that sometimes sequels will go, we think we know what you like about this and we're going to do more of it. And then it's not. They've got it wrong.
Yeah.
And more is not what we wanted. We wanted an evolution of it. And Bourne Supremacy is an evolution of it. Matt Damon is so much, more comfortable in the part. Obviously, there is an issue with the fridging that happens in the film, but like it sort of gets away with doing that, despite it not being an ideal plot device.
It's not. I think it's great. I really enjoy it. I think some of the performances in it are really good. I mean, Brian Cox as a baddie is just brilliant.
Great casting.
He's
absolutely superb.
Of course he's the right baddie. Yeah, it's great.
So it's a problem with so many sequels is that bigger and louder sort of desire, and obviously there's got some incredible fight scenes in it. The Moscow car chase is superbly done. But like essentially the film, the third act is him racing to clear various names and get the truth out, but it's also about him trying to tell the daughter of the Neskis that her parents didn't sort of kill each other and commit suicide, that they were murdered in a political operation, and that as like the through line to it is so like not only representative of where David Webb, Jason Bourne, has got to as a person and like his humanity, but like as an action film, you like that is what makes the best action films. Like Die Hard, has these like personal through lines to it that keep you connected to it, and it's not about the spectacle, because the spectacle doesn't mean anything if you don't give a shit about the people involved.
It's a thinking man's action film, and back in 2004, that kind of took everyone a little bit by surprise, didn't it? How, like, you're probably about the same age as me. Did you really care about the political storyline at that point in 2004, or did you just think this is really cool, beating shit up, and the car chases are really good?
No, I think so. I was 20, I guess, when it came out, and I was absolutely in like. I was free of school, which I sort of hated. I hated and I didn't go to university. So I was fully into my doing my own knowledge, research. I read so much. I was so into wanting to know more about the world. Now I was free from school.
Yeah.
That this was a thing where I actually watched that period of time. I watched so many documentaries, but all of the films I really liked were these political sort of thrillers. I remember seeing The Parallax View around that sort of time, and obviously JFK is this sort of incredible film. And I'd say to this day, a conspiracy thriller, subterfuge, all of that. That's what is interesting to me. I love that sort of stuff where you're you don't know how deep the conspiracy goes. Just because I also don't think that many conspiracies actually happen in real life. It's sort of this that's my escapism fun.
Yeah, I think the whole the conspiracies in real life thing is people are inherently a bit stupid, I think, really, and so nobody can keep a conspiracy covered up because somebody wants to go, do you know what we did? Yeah.
Or that MI5 chief that left a USB key on a train.
Yeah,
you're just we are, as the more complex conspiracy, the more people need to be involved, the less likely it is to be contained for more than a couple of days. But then you watch these films, you're oh my God, because essentially what conspiracies do is they act as a non-spiritual purpose or guiding hand to the universe. So if you believe in God, God's there shaping things, and if things go wrong, it's because it's part of God's plan. If conspiracies exist, it's if things go wrong in your life, it lends a bit of order, this outside control that you can't fully ever comprehend.
Yeah.
But it's sort of comforting in some way, because otherwise the alternative is it's just random chaos. And at any point, anything could go wrong for any of us, and we'd have no reason for that.
Yeah. And yeah, that's the truth of it, though, right? Yeah. I mean, watching this movie today, it's such a mid-2000s movie, and yet also kind of feels like it's not aged badly. Like,
Is that because of the technology you're talking about?
Well, no. I mean, if I think of this standard stereotypical movie from the mid-2000s, like all the things are in this movie. Like Born Supremacy has all those kind of mid-2000s kind of tropes you'd expect.
Yeah.
And yet it still feels really good and fresh and doesn't feel old and stale. It's what is it? 20 years old now? 21 years old.
Yeah, wow.
Like, it doesn't feel it.
It makes me feel so old.
It can take itself for a drink.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a movie that I liked the first one, the first time I saw it. I didn't love it. I think it's got better more times I watched it, The Bourne Identity. For some reason, I didn't connect with it the first time. So I wasn't hugely excited when this one came out, Supremacy came out. And then I remember watching thinking, fuck, that's really good. I'm on board with this now. And I watched it again the other day. I was like, oh yeah, it's really good. The action's really good. You can see why Bond copied it. Apparently with all the technology I was reading the other day, that you can get your hands on all that kit. You can buy everything he uses. You can buy. It's all real stealth spy stuff, not like the Bond or the Mission Impossible. It's all real technology. So it all feels really grounded. And the whole I like I'm about to say it's Ultimatum better, but it isn't because you would have picked it. Do you like all of these films?
I love all of them. I love. I even have a soft spot for the spin-off
Legacy
and the fourth one, Legacy. I have a soft spot for it. I think it's got some really good scenes. And then Bourne, Matt Damon's fourth one. Neither of those two are as good as the original trilogy, sort of in terms of how they hold together. But I like the world, and often my thing with films is that. Like Civil War recently, I'm like, I thought the film was good and fun. Lots of elements of it. I'm like, oh, I wish it had gone in a different direction, but I don't mind. I thought it was really nicely done. But I was like, what I would love to see is 10 films set within the universe of Civil War that are different genres, that are different, like a family drama in the Midwest where the Civil War hasn't really touched, but a horror film in Maryland. Like near the front line sort of thing, like all of these. And the same with Jurassic Park, like I love that universe. I don't like where they went with it, but like I love the fact that you can keep expanding it and be like, and here's that thing that was like mentioned a little while ago, and now we're exploring that.
Yeah.
And I think Bourne does that really well. I remember with the fourth Bourne, I remember being like, oh, cool, I want to see that. And my partner at the time, I remember saying like, oh, I want to go and see that. And they were like, oh, I want to see that. I was like, oh, cool. All right. And they were like, I haven't seen any of the others. Is that important? I was like, yeah, I would say so. And they were like, and I was like, so shall we watch the 3 that you need to see in the lead up?
Yeah.
We had a month to go. By the time it was released, we'd only watched 1. 2 weeks in, we'd watched the second one. And then I think 3-4 weeks, I was like, keep pushing, because you understand this is important. I want to see this. And eventually it got to the point where I was driving home and saw that there was like 1 performance left.
Yeah.
It was down to 1 a day sort of thing. I was like, I got to see it. It's a Thursday. It's going to probably leave. I'm going to just go and see it. And then I told her, and man, she lost her shit in a way that I was like, what's this actually about? Because this can't be about the Bourne series of films, because otherwise you would have watched the 3 of them in the 6-week period you had to watch them. And also you're watching them and I've seen them before. So like we could watch this one with me having seen it. So what is the deeper level? I never found out what the deeper level thing was. But it doesn't sort of paint things in a healthy light.
No. One of my normal questions is, have you made your partner watch this film? Have you?
My current partner, I don't know if she has actually. I'm very reluctant to be one of those film bros basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's so nice sharing a film that you love with someone, but also you don't want to be the person, you know, you want to make sure it's even. You want to make sure that it's like going back and forth, that you're like appreciating the fact that if they're recommending a thing and you're like, oh, I'm not sure I want to see that, then they're probably having that with almost all of yours as well. And that actually it should be a trade back and forth. But also my partner Chloe, she doesn't really watch films very much.
Yeah, same. My wife doesn't watch films very much. Although I recommended The Apartment to her the other day, and she really enjoyed it. So it's not very often that happens. Oh, and I got her to watch Karate Kid, and she's like, I could watch the sequel. I'm like, yes.
It's really nice when they enjoy one of the things you love.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that is genuinely, it is a nice feeling. I think, because for me going to the cinema is such I use it as a decompress, a solo thing where I'm off, you know, I've had a stressful couple of weeks with work or something like that. I go to the cinema by myself. It doesn't really matter what I watch. It's just that I'm getting to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it feels quite personal, and like, I don't want to, I have things that I like in watching something that if you don't think it's going to be reciprocated, you don't want it to become, I don't want them to feel pressure to enjoy it in the way I'm enjoying it.
Oh, you're a bad person than me. I'm a bad person.
Well, 90% of the time I go to the cinema, it's on my own, and the other 10% is with Dave. So
nice.
My wife doesn't like the cinema. My son has autism and doesn't get on with dark spaces and loud noises. So it's only ever me. I just go on my own. And that's kind of like
that's interesting, because I'm
thing.
autistic and I love that space.
I know. This is what they say, isn't it? If you meet one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Like, everyone's different, right? Like, he's very sensory, so very kind of noises and lights. He's very kind of affected by that. We've tried a few times, but not successfully. Like, sometimes something will come out that he's so excited about, he really wants to try. Like Sonic 2, I think, was the last one we went to, and now he's like, never again, not doing it. No.
Maybe that's a critique on the cinematic.
Oh, we didn't get to the film.
Yeah, it was the IMAX advert or something.
We only got to literally the IMAX advert came on, and that was it. We were done. He was out of there.
Ah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, my fault.
Oh, interesting.
Shouldn't have taken to an IMAX. I don't know what I was thinking. That was very bad.
Me and my wife go to cinema quite a lot together, so I'm not quite sure she likes.
You're too busy kissing on the back row.
Oh yeah. I'm not quite sure she likes all the films that I drag her to. There's no better way of saying it, but it gets us out of the house. It's a routine. She likes the day out, but she's. When we first got together, I was like, okay, films are very important to me. I really like, and I'm going to use the word, I made her watch Star Wars, but I did offer lots of curry and wine, and she likes them now. She does like them, and she really got into the Marvel stuff. I'm not quite sure how that happens, but she has started showing me films as well. Like, I've now seen The Notebook multiple times, and you know what? It's not bad, and I might have cried at it a few times.
Yeah. And we'd love to see a sequel.
Yeah, man. Oh, God. So each month now we pick one film each we want to watch, and then
that's nice.
We put our phones away and then just watch it. So this month we did, she did a Walk to Remember, which is another film like Notebook, and I did Little Shop of Horrors.
Great choice.
That sounds like a lovely little...
It is. It just takes away all of the arguments, basically, of what you don't want to watch once a month or twice a month because of the films. And then next month, I've picked Three Amigos.
Did that come from her being like, I don't want to watch Top Gun Maverick again, Dave?
No, she loved Top Gun Maverick.
And that's the exciting thing when the preferences, the genre preferences cross.
Yes.
I do, and probably maybe when I was younger, maybe was a bit more snobby about it, but I don't think I ever was, because sort of part of the autistic side for me is this like people pleasing, wanting to blend in, like not be noticed for it. So I'd always I'd have my little opinions on like films and things like that, but try to be like as accepting as possible, because also I know that I hate it when someone tells me how shit a film I love is, because I'm just like, well, why? Like, now you're just like, there's no good argument you can come back with to someone who explains in detail why a film you like is shit, because like every film is shit. in a way.
Oh, yeah.
If you are prepared to find it, you can find reasons why every film is shit.
And we do this podcast. We've had loads of people on this podcast, and the amount of times that someone's best sequel has been someone else's worst
Or
is
vice
so
versa.
common. Or vice versa. Yeah, it's so common because it's all opinion. None of this is fact. None of this is kind of. You can't boil this down.
And
to
people go
true.
like, "Oh, I hate musicals, but I like action films." And you're like, "Well, they are the same. They're the exact same rhythms and beats. It's just that one is a song and dance and one is a shootout. It's just they have their tropes that they have to follow."
I have been that person who was like, I hate musicals, but I've completely changed. I'm a reformed character. I now love musicals.
It's because you had a bad event, didn't you? A bad episode.
I see quite a bad episode. No, I just went through a run of watching really crap musicals, I think was the problem.
Right, yeah.
And ones I really
And in
didn't
the same
enjoy.
way, like,
yeah.
if you like that, then you're going to watch those and you're going to have like some enjoyment of it because you enjoy those tropes. It's more burnt into you. In the same way that I have watched all sorts of bad action films and come out being like, cool, that ticked a box that I wanted to get. But I would never in 1,000 years make, someone I care about sit down and watch Taken 2 or Law Abiding Citizen or any of those
The
sort
Beekeeper.
of films. The Beekeeper. I had a fun time with The Beekeeper.
Yeah, it's great.
And I can't wait for The Beekeeper
He
2.
keeps bees, and his job was being a beekeeper. You can't write that shit. I mean, they did. Does that mean when you watched this film, you were surprised at how good the action was in Bourne Supremacy? This is me bringing it back.
Yeah, I like it. It was something, I guess, up until that point that there were things like the Blair Witch Project. I can't think of any others, but there were the way films were being made was slightly changing.
Yeah.
And the way that tech was being used and the way we consumed media had shifted. And also, everyone talks about it as a post 9/11 sort of like a watershed for action films, where suddenly we're seeing shaky footage of things like that.
The handheld stuff.
Yeah. That it became, it was a very exciting thing to see it done as well as it was on a high budget in a very practical way. And I appreciate that there is CGI in there and that it was before the proliferation of it, but so it had just been used to tidy up things and hide stuff. But I think that ultimately is such a using CGI to accent action to heighten it rather than using it to build it entirely is such a fun way of making films. And I get that there's budgetary reasons why some things, but if you can find a practical way that CGI can help with, that is so much better.
I agree with you because this kind of set off a new trend to these films, didn't it? Because Bond copied it and then Mission Impossible eventually copied it and
everything copied it for quite a while, yeah.
And then eventually the good stuff about it kind of goes bad for a while and you're like, I've had enough of these handheld shaky camera, just hold it still. But I think this one holds up really well and it's really exciting. I think Matt Damon's really good and I think them killing off his girlfriend so early on was a surprise. My missus watched it the other day with me.
Bond copied that as well, right?
And then Bond copied that.
Oh yeah. And it is not in the larger scheme of things, it's not a good trope. It does come from a patriarchal setup in art, but it doesn't mean that every single one of them is necessarily bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes women do die. And I want it to be official that I am not on board with that.
Okay, good.
But art should reflect life, and sometimes the female partners of male spies die tragically.
And it's the men's fault as well because of they die. There you go. Yeah. Would you watch another Bourne if they did it now?
I was actually thinking about that in terms of in prep for this, where I was like, I would, and what I would like to see is a Bourne. This is slightly inspired by Slow Horses, the incredible TV series.
Yeah,
but Jackson Lamb, Gary Oldman's character, is physically deeply unfit and unable to do anything close to fighting or anything like that. But he is a genius with years in the game. And I was like, that would be an interesting thing to see a Bourne who physically can't keep up with what's being thrown at him anymore, but how he improvises his way out of it. In the same way that, in Ultimatum, in the Morocco chase scenes, the guy is probably physically besting him, but he finds a way to beat him.
Yeah.
But to like take that to the next level and to be like, to find an interesting spin, a personal reason, or something that to bring him back in. I have no objection to sequels or remakes or reboots, because if I don't like it, I don't have to watch it. And
True.
if they do something interesting with it, brilliant. We all win.
And unless you do a sequel podcast, you don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Javon, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep. I'm here to help with everything from selecting the perfect window treatments to...
Well, I've got a complicated project.
No problem. I can even help schedule a professional measure and install. We can also send you samples fast and free.
I just might have to do more.
Whatever you need.
So the first room we're looking at is for...
Shop Blinds.com now and save up to 40% site-wide. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Fresh kicks, spring tops, new dresses. There's always a score.
I mean, the denim section is unreal.
Why do I rack? All the dresses. I always find something amazing.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find can't-miss deals on all the spring things. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
What has been your most disappointing sequel? So it doesn't have to be a bad sequel. It doesn't have to be... So this is not your worst sequel, but one you went in high and you came out low. Because I think it's quite interesting what you were just saying then. Like, if you don't want to see it, you won't see it. But if you're excited about going and seeing it...
Well, we've already mentioned the franchise, Terminator. It's Terminator 4.
Oh, okay.
Because...
Salvation.
From the trailer... Yeah, Salvation. Sorry, Terminator Salvation. From the trailer... And from Christian Bale being hot off of Batman and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like my favourite actor at the time. I was watching everything he was doing. I was like, here we go. He's still a very good actor. But if we're gonna choose, we're probably gonna go with who are we gonna go with these days? R. Pats and Amy Adams.
Okay.
Good shout. Yeah.
Pretty good, pretty solid shouts. T4 looks from the trailers, I was like, they're doing it. They're doing the guerrilla warfare movie. They're doing this gritty, after Terminator 3, which I just sort of didn't mind, was just sort of like, fine, that passes the time. Nice to see Arnie. Not got any objections to it. It's got an incredible last 10 minutes. I was like, here we go. We're back on course. They're changing genre. They're doing these fun things, which is part of what this, in my mind, this series of films should be about. Is like, we had a horror chase thriller, then we had a big action-packed thing, and then T3 was just more of a sequel to T2.
Yeah,
we're getting back into like shifting things up, and it was so bad. It was so bad
because it's directed by someone called McG. would be the main problem.
Whereas Charlie's Angels Full Throttle would be one of my favourite sequels.
Yeah, I remember watching Salvation, being pretty pumped that it was set in the future. And I was like, okay, we haven't seen that before. We've seen clips and glimpses. And then, the McG was the problem. There's some... Oh, and Sam Worthington, who barely can have a personality in any movie he's put in. That's me being horrible, sorry. And, it's not good. There's some cool moments in it. Some of the tech's good. But that's
some of the tech's good. There's some, like, great imagery. There's some fun bits, but you just sort of go again, like, I don't think Terminator is sort of, you listen to Pierre's episode of this and Pierre Novelli and his point about sometimes you're like, you don't need to answer the questions that you've set in sequels.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by like, I like the worlds, and it's not that I want answers to like things, but like if there's like a bit where it's like, you could explore that with, whether it be, Skynet or in T2 where they explored Dyson and, the getting to see the severed robot hand from the original, where you're like, these are like, it helps scaffold, it doesn't sort of destroy the legacy of it. And I know it's difficult because everyone goes into it being like, oh, we've got to explore this will be really fun, not thinking they're destroying the legacy of it. But it's like, I think it just needs a lighter touch in general. It just needs a little bit of like, to feel like each sequel builds on the previous one without doing something that negates what has happened in the previous one.
Yeah.
And it builds its own world. Yeah. And TS really, I thought, I'll whisper it, but I thought Bale did a pretty bad performance.
Also, it's kind of boring, right? Like, I think if you're going to make an action movie, I can forgive a lot if it's entertaining or at least slightly fun. But it's dull. It's really quite boring.
It's also very PG.
And maybe that's why it's so dull. PG. It's because it's sanitized.
It feels like a studio is like, okay, we've got this franchise now. We need to make it family friendly and get more people, bums on the seats and all that. And then there's no real violence in it, from what I can think of.
And you'd think the future would be more violent, right? You've got unstoppable killing machines trying to wipe out the human race. It should be more violent.
A problem with this, like, bigger is better, is like the start of Salvation is him on a helicopter shooting a T-800 through the skull and killing it. And you're like, that's taken 3 minutes. But in the first film, it took 90 minutes and so many different things. So you're just like, oh, so I guess the world isn't the same as what these are. It's easier to kill them in a world where you have less ability. I don't know. It just, and the slavish addiction to like Arnie in like a non-interesting way.
Yeah.
Whereas I actually thought Dark Fate did a fun, interesting thing with that. I'd say Dark Fate is a fun sequel.
It's certainly the best.
I mean, Genesis is the worst.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Genesis is terrible.
Or Genesis, whatever they're trying to call it.
Genesis.
Yeah. What about you feel about the twists in Salvation? So one of them, that Sam Worthington character, is a Terminator / cyborg thing. And then at the end, when they make basically John Connor into a Terminator thing, as a cyborg thing as well. How do you feel about all that?
Just this boring obsession with like, it's like, how can we, shock you? How can we take this, the essence of Terminator and push it even further? Whereas I'm just like, wouldn't it just be interesting to just see a war film?
Is that where you go now? If you had
just
control?
Let's see the war film. Let's see how John Connor does that. It's like, and how he becomes the leader, if you're going to do it, rather than just doing like and now we're going to do, like, it's like they've gotten Kyle Reese being his dad is the thing that's so cool about Terminator. This sort of like in time loopy, like things are in and on top of itself. So what if John Connor ends up becoming a robot? That's pretty cool, isn't it? And you're like, no, that was just a little side thing.
Yeah.
A fun little time travel like gag bit. Yeah. Oh man.
Which they then ruined in the trailer of Genesis, wherever they gave away.
Oh my god. They lost such faith in that film so early on that they have to give away the twist in the trailer.
Yeah. Did you go and see Salvation
I
in the cinema?
That film.
Oh, did you go and see all of them?
Yeah, I watched all of them in the cinema.
Bless you.
For my 30th, I did a Terminator 2 at the Prince Charles.
Oh, amazing.
Nice.
And that's so fun to find out, 20 years after I'd first watched it, how funny that film is.
Yeah.
That you just don't consider when you watch at home.
Yeah.
But you see with a room of other people, and all these lines are so funny. The performances are great.
Yeah, everyone's really good in it.
I mean, you take out the nuclear war bit, and you take out the foster mum getting stabbed through the head kind of thing.
Stu wouldn't have seen those bits probably.
If you watched it on the telly, you'd have missed those bits.
What? What are these things?
Take out those bits. It's basically like a buddy movie, right? Like it's basically like John Connor finding his new dad. That's what it is. Like
it's coming to America.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Fish out of water buddy movie.
It's about a big Austrian man who finds himself in America and befriends a young boy.
It's perfect.
Is it the third one when he puts the Elton John sunglasses on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just remembering that one a bit more now.
Yeah, it is a weaker point of it.
They did that one and Salvation very much feel like films are made in that era. Like, I know we take the piss out of the McG name and stuff, but he's not really the man that you would choose to do a Terminator film, is he? I think he, like you said, did Charlie's Angels. He did California. Oh, the OC.
Did he?
Yeah. He was the director.
Is that
of the
his
OC.
background?
That's one of his.
I thought he was.
babies.
Yeah, so he was advertising, then went into that.
Yes, bit of TV, and then Charlie's Angels, and then this. And he's done something recently. I'm going to have to. Rich.
He did like, what was that? It's like Freaky Friday, but it's the whole family. What was that thing that he did a couple of years ago?
What, Christmas?
It was, yeah. I think it's like was it like the Family Switch or something? Or
Jennifer Garner and Ed Helms. I watched it this Christmas. It was actually okay.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
But that's what I would think of a McG film. So I mean, I wouldn't think of like Terminator. He did like some of he's done TV as well, isn't he? He seems to be like bringing back old 80s movies into TV shows. Like he did a Turner and Hooch TV episode, I think, and he did the Lethal Weapon TV series.
Oh,
really?
Bit sort of a strange one.
How do I not know about the Family Switch?
you don't want to. I think it's a Netflix movie.
It is
a
a
Netflix one. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
I love Jennifer Garner.
It's
she's great. No, there's a bit when the whole family switch. So the mum and dad go into the children's bodies. So the brother and sister, and then at one part of the film, it looks like the brother and sister are going to kiss, and everyone and they're at like a team party, and everyone's like, "This is weird." And then the dog goes into the baby, and the baby goes into the dog.
No,
this is real.
That shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Yeah.
That's perverted.
It is very odd.
Anyway, let's go on to Stu. What is your worst ever sequel?
Is Mission Impossible 2.
This is a good answer because I mean I wasn't a big fan of the first Mission Impossible when I first watched it, but I was like 13 and I didn't know better. I've since gone back and watched it and liked it. And Dave is a big Mission Impossible fan, and he's like, "Right, you've got to watch them all now." And I started watching Mission Impossible 2, and I was like, "Oh, do I have to? I don't want to watch anymore." Like it's poor. It's really poor.
It's really poor. I want to see if I can find. Can you quickly rank them, Dave? Mission Impossible films.
We did a whole episode on where we ranked them. Yeah,
we put this last.
Mission Impossible 2 was the last one. Yeah,
we're both fans of the third one.
Yeah, because Philip Seymour Hoffman's incredible. That's what's the best thing about the third one.
They're all very good.
Before Fallout, three was my favourite.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm going like 6, 3.
Oh yeah.
1, 5, 7, 4, 2.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Which one's your favourite? Was it Fallout?
Fallout.
Yeah, I think Fallout is so impossible to ignore.
I really love Rogue Nation though. The bit with the plane, it's got the opera house.
Rogue Nation is a lot of fun. Yeah,
and and Fallout does have the better ending. But in 2000, you must have been about 15, right?
Mission Impossible 2. And I remember
I loved it first time I saw it. I really fucking loved it. Oh, I was an idiot. I was an idiot though. I was 15 and.
There's nothing more you love more than motorbikes and swishy hair in slow motion.
Yeah, I would have bought the soundtrack on CD from a shop. I played that a lot. Limp Bizkit, Metallica was on it. Uncle
The soundtrack's
Cracker.
the best thing about the movie.
The soundtrack is the best thing. It is. The score is incredible. It's Zimmer. It's some beautiful stuff by Zimmer. Like, really great stuff. And then the actual songs that they use in it is superb. I remember having the trailer on a CD-ROM, I think it was.
Yes.
From a magazine. And I watched that trailer so many times. And I was like, I cannot believe they're making a film this good.
Yeah, the trailer's good.
I cannot believe they're allowed to do it. It's so good. And then I remember going to the cinema, I think, by myself. It was like a half-hour bike ride to the cinema. Do that, and then I remember just sort of walking my bike home, just being a bit like,
that's so sad.
Why is it bad?
Was this the moment? Was this when you realised cinema could be bad?
Yeah, it was when I first became an adult.
We all have that moment.
Yep.
We all have that cinematic moment where we're like, oh, this could be bad.
I genuinely think it was, because I enjoyed Batman and Robin in the cinema.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like what was I then? I was 13. I got my parents to drop me off at the cinema on the way home. We were going home from something, and I was like, "Can you just drop me off? I want to go to see this." Did that. Saw it, came out. Didn't think anything of it until I read the reviews. And even actually, I think Empire gave it 3 stars.
Yes.
And I was like, that feels about right. That was fun.
They probably had to put it on their cover, and then they probably had to give it 3 stars for that reason.
Yeah.
What about Phantom Menace? We will get back to Mission Impossible. What about Phantom Menace? Because that's a lot of people's wake-up moment.
I never liked Star Wars. So I was never bothered. I watched Empire Strikes Back and was like, that's great, but I hadn't seen the original. I saw that when they did the 97 releases because my friend loved it. So I was like, I'll come to that. And was like, oh, Empire Strikes Back is cool.
Is that when he had all the videos?
Yeah, the one, it was genuinely
I bet it was.
all the videos. And then Phantom Menace came out. I was working at a cinema then, I think. Was that 2002?
Phantom Menace was
2001,
99,
wasn't it?
99.
What?
99.
It was, because The Siege came out, didn't it? The Siege was the one that had the trailer, and that was 99.
Yep.
And then Phantom Menace. Wow, so it was way before I worked to the cinema.
I think
must have
2002
seen it
was
at the cinema,
Attack
I
of the
just didn't bother.
Clones.
That would have been it, yeah.
That
I think I was working at the cinema then.
Still realise films can be bad after watching that one?
Genuinely, none of them, I didn't care enough, so I was just like, let it just wash over me. And the same with Phantom Menace, same with Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, just all of it. I was just like, eh.
Okay, we're getting a base level now. So, what made you hate Mission Impossible 2 so much? What moment?
Because I cared about it, I think.
Oh.
I cared and was like, I loved the first one. And I remember it was one of seeing the first one with friends was like the feeling like you were growing up and you're getting to go and see a grown up. Seeing Mission Impossible, I remember felt like seeing a grown up's film.
Yeah.
Because it was complicated and it was like dark lighting and people had serious conversations and the action felt, real and a bit scary at times when the lift goes up and it goes through his mouth. And then you'd have conversations in the car being driven back by parents where you're like, what did that bit mean? Or, whatever. And so when 2 was coming out, I was like, I can't believe it. This is so cool that there's a sequel to that film. It's going to be and the trailer is so incredible that the drop off in enjoyment is just the biggest I think I've had with any film, from trailer to finished film.
Yeah. It's a completely different movie, isn't it? Oh, he starts off hanging.
On the falling off the rock, almost falling off, and then,
And then at the end of the trailer, he takes the glasses off and he throws the glasses at the camera. And I think that's the end of the trailer.
And then when he does that in the movie, it's really cheesy.
It's nice because it's got good music playing. It's got Anthony Hopkins in. I'm trying to sell this film now, and I don't know why. It's John Woo. Did you know who John Woo was at the time?
And also, there's so many. Obviously, I loved Face Off, loved Broken Arrow, I loved Hard Boiled, The Killer. What's the other one that he did?
Better Tomorrow.
I'd watch. That's Better Tomorrow, I think maybe. Is that?
Did you say Boiled? What's it called?
Hard Boiled.
Hard Boiled, yeah, you did, didn't you?
It's Hard Target as well, isn't there? Hard Boiled and Hard Target, and then Broken Arrow, and then Face Off, I think.
Yeah. So I was like, this is gonna be great, and it was just it was like one of those things where you're like, Woo's sensibility didn't work with the character and the world they were trying to build, and then they were watching it, even a few years on, it's pretty bad in terms of how it describes women as well in it. It's pretty ropey with it, and I know that one of them is a villain, but at the same time you're like, I don't think you're saying that because you're I need everyone to think how much more villainous he is. He's already stolen a virus that could kill the world.
Tandy Newton is the best thing in the movie by a long way.
She's great, and she's so underserved by everyone in it.
Yeah. And Dougray Scott is really bad. It's he's just a very bad baddie. It's just at no point do you think, he could actually be a threat here. It's just he's just rubbish.
We do have this film to thank that he wasn't Wolverine though, because it overran for so long, didn't it?
No, he broke his arm, didn't he?
Something mental like that, yeah.
So he broke his arm doing a stunt with Tom Cruise for this movie, which meant he didn't have enough time to get into shape to be Wolverine, which is why we got Hugh Jackman instead.
Oh, thank God. That would be a very different Wolverine.
That would have been a very different Scottish Wolverine.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think one of my main issues with Mission Impossible 2 is that it feels so long. It's only just over 2 hours, but at the end, Tandy Newton's just walking for 40 minutes to the edge of Australia or whatever she's meant to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I really liked it the first time I watched it. I remember me going to watch it with some mates and really enjoying the action. And, they're using bikes as knives at the end of it. But it's getting from all those points. It just takes too long.
Yeah.
And it's a bit dull.
It's a bit dull.
When you rewatch them, do you leave this one out? Or are you a completist?
No. I am normally, but this is like one that I'm like, I'm going to make an exception for you, Mission Impossible 2. Like, I watched 4 as well. I think 4 is just quite boring and too cartoony. And, it was obviously where they were doing the shift, where they were like, we're going to shift this away from Ethan Hunt. And then did it and went, that was a mistake, actually.
Yeah.
We're going to bring Jeremy Renner in and try and have him overtake. Yeah. But then they realised that they like to see Tom Cruise do dangerous stunts, and that's the big selling piece. 4's got a weak bad guy as well. I think a lot of these Mission Impossible ones have weak bad guys.
The better the bad guy, the better the movie, basically.
Yeah, because...
That's the shorthand for Mission Impossible. The better the bad guy, better the movie.
I think that's where the last one went wrong.
Because didn't really have a bad guy. It's a bad AI.
He's a bad AI, and he's in a submarine in the Antarctic or something.
Yeah.
We can't judge it fully until the next one comes out. But at the same time, I was like, so many bits of this are so incredible. Maybe I shouldn't have watched the featurette on how they did the bike jump.
Yes, me too.
That did ruin that bit.
That's why I'm not going to watch any featurettes of the new one.
We didn't have much of a choice because it was on before every movie for about a month before it came out. They did the featurette in the trailers. I must have watched that featurette like 3 times, just in trailers of other movies.
It looks better in the making of.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, because suddenly the CGI rocky outcrop that they add in.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. And also, you've shown us what it actually looks like, so I I'm now, my eye is trained to look for the CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean. It should be to accent. And the problem was that, they're trying to use it to accent a true thing. But if I had not seen the featurette, would I have been fooled by it? Yeah. I definitely would have enjoyed the build up to it where Benji's sending him up the mountain and you're like, oh, what's this going to be?
Yeah.
Whereas reality, you're like, oh, we're doing that bit, are we?
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen the better version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's always, it's like, now's the bit where Tom Cruise is going to try and kill himself.
Yeah. But to be fair to the lad, the bit when he crashes through the train with the parachute, I mean, he's such an incredible physical actor.
Oh, yeah.
Like his comedy, the comedy in 7 is when they're in the car, they get into that tiny little car and it's like being auto. He doesn't know what button to press, and then it's the windscreen wipers start going and all of that.
Rich didn't like that bit.
I didn't like that bit.
I was like, this is great stuff. When he hits through the train, is there, and he just looks like concussed for a second, and he has this little look on his face. I'm like, this is why we all love Tom Cruise.
Yes,
some of us don't.
Oh. I got a Tom Cruise podcast. I love him. Do you think Mission Impossible 2 has his worst hairstyle of the whole series? Because when I was 15, I wanted that hair.
I think 4, maybe.
Okay. It's quite similar.
2 works with it. It is relatively similar. It feels like 4 is going for 2. You're like, oh, I guess it fits with it's Australia and it's like
it's Australia.
It's Australia and they've all got weird hair. Whereas 4 just feels a little bit like, come on, man, you've got a job here.
Yeah.
Just tidy your hair up a bit, would you?
Yeah. And do you think it didn't have enough doves for a John Woo movie?
But the doves that were in there, were you just like, oh, there's a dove in this underground little silo,
how did that get there? Should have used pigeons or something in the end.
Right?
Just ratty old London pigeons.
In Australia, you've got bin pigeons, haven't you, or something like that? Bin is like a type of bird over there. You just have them going knocking about. Also, this is like, I remember being in Sydney and being in the gardens, the Botanic Gardens, I think, near the Opera House, where they do one of the scenes, and being like, "Oh, is this from Mission Impossible 2?" I think, looking around, and then not caring, which is odd because I've been to like the blandest places where I've gone like, "This is from a movie." Got really excited and then like figured it out and be like, yes, this is great, exciting.
Yeah.
Could not care less. I leave Liverpool Street Station in London every time I take the same exit because I get to look at the apartment that they go into in Mission Impossible 1, which is above the tube entrance.
Is it?
And I've walked out, taken a photo of it, sent it to Nish Kumar, said, name the movie, and within 20 seconds, Mission Impossible comes back.
You're cool guys.
Brilliant.
Cool guys.
Pretty cool guys.
I think I was around Borough Market the other day and I saw the building, I think, is where they have the house in Lock, Stock and Smoke, 2 Smoking Barrels. And that got me very excited. I took a picture of that because we're cool guys.
We're cool guys.
We're cool guys.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
What sequel seemed like a bad idea, but you ended up liking? Now, this might be hard because you might have just not wanted to see a film in the first place.
Yeah. Seemed like a bad idea.
This is the one that always gets people.
Yeah, this is a hard one to answer, I think.
Now, our most recent one, because we always find one of these a year, it seems, is the Bridget Jones 4. The Bridget Jones 4 movie. Bridget Jones 4. Or last year was Smile 2. Or the year before that was Puss in Boots 2. Which, if you haven't seen, it's due. Go see.
It's brilliant, yeah.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Okay.
It's it's an analysis of aging and doubting yourself as you get older. Like, it's
and
not what you
immortality.
expect from a Puss in Boots movie.
You'll be questioning your life thoughts and everything. It's actually brilliant.
Well, I've got a couple of answers that could be useful here. Number one is Blade Runner 2049. I think it's better than the original.
Yes, agreed.
And next is Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again.
Okay. One of those I haven't seen, but we can talk about
me neither.
Mamma Mia.
I loved Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. I had such a fun time, and it genuinely was emotional at the end. And I was like, great.
Okay.
And I'd sort of only half watched the original at home, like with my mum, sort of like paying, in and out, doing stuff, being like, oh yeah, I get it. It's not really for me. Here We Go Again. Woof. Loved it.
Is it down to the songs, or was it down to the flashbacks?
Maybe
it's a prequel sequel, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So some of it takes place after the original, some of it takes place beforehand. So we get to meet the mum, Mamiya, and she was younger, Ivana.
Yeah.
And then the daughter after the mum, Mamiya, has passed away.
Right.
And it just Meryl Streep is in it, right? At multiple points, but like the ending is just so beautifully done, and like you can't miss because it's ABBA. Maybe Brosnan is like sidelined a bit. Maybe that's part of it.
Is it because he can't?
I love
sing?
Brunholm. I watch it, but maybe he doesn't get to sing as much, so maybe that helps.
Because I remember
that is the best part of the original.
Oh, SOS
when he sings.
Yeah. I remember.
Incredible.
Do they use the same songs, or is it different songs in the sequel?
Different songs.
Oh, okay. They have that many songs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. ABBA have loads of songs, don't they?
But enough for 2 films.
Yeah. Easily.
And they do a lovely bit with Fernando.
Okay.
And it's like a real tongue-in-cheek where you're just like, you sons of bitches, you pulled it off. You did something wild with that, and I love it. And the same with Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
You pulled it off, you crazy motherfuckers.
I love that. I absolutely love it. Like, especially like Dave mentioned Bridget Jones 4. Like, I did not have that on my things to do in 2024 list was like have a little cry at Bridget Jones 4. Do you know what I mean? Like that is not, and exactly how you described like Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. I love it when those things take you by surprise and you just go,
do you know what? Yeah. I remember seeing Where the Wild Things Are and that catching me by surprise at the end and having a little tear at it. And like, these films where you just and like that obviously is a bit more engineered towards it, but like I actually love it when something that is broad and is for a lot of people and is not supposed to be challenging in any way suddenly grabs you like that. You're like, whoa,
yeah,
how have you done that? It feels like more of a magic trick than watching past lives and that really affecting you at the end, which is incredible ending to a film, one of the best endings to a film ever. But at the same time, you're like, yes, it's an indie film.
You almost expect it, like, and
it's very art house. I know what you're trying. I know what the point of this is in many ways.
Are you finding yourself when the older you're getting, the more emotional you're getting? Because I am. I'll cry at anything. I cried at Sister Act 2 once, so that's not even a lie.
And now you're back in the habit of doing it more often.
Do you know what? My wife had to tell me what that meant because I just thought she was back being a nun. So you're always learning.
No, I think I think I'm like, here's things that get me. The feeling that someone is trying to be heard but can't be heard.
Oh, okay.
That's what really gets me. And I feel it in music a lot, and I'm a big fan of the band Frightened Rabbit.
Okay.
And obviously the lead singer of Frightened Rabbit very sadly passed away, committed suicide, and had like a long history of like problems with drugs and alcohol and all sorts. And there's videos you can watch where he's performing in like a really like staid environment, like BBC, like a group of like people who've got free tickets to watch this lovely concert, and he's singing like these songs from like, bearing his soul. And then afterwards they're all just like clapping, like that was very nice sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that genuinely made me cry because it's like, it was there in his music the whole time. And he's singing about this stuff, and everyone's just like, yep, good stuff. We're enjoying your art.
Yeah.
Keep going, please, with your art.
I don't really know the band very well, but I just, they're making a film about them, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, I think it's a documentary, I think.
Oh, wow.
Don't get his hopes up if you don't know. Look at his face.
No, they're definitely making a film.
Okay, good.
I'm like 90% it's a documentary, but they're definitely making a kind of a film about him and the band in general.
I mean, even their most upbeat song, Swim Until You Can't See Land, even when you just process the title of that song for a second, you're like, uh-oh, that's bleaker than I expected it to be.
Yeah. That's pretty bleak.
If I was to listen to this band, when is the best time of day or feeling that I should be listening to them?
I like to lean into that stuff. I'm actually like, I'm not like, oh, now I'm in a good mood so I can like deal with it. I'm like, no, I am like, so like there's like autistic burnout and stuff like that. That's when I will like be like, I can lean into that. I can listen to this sad stuff and really embrace it and, be okay with it, because I'm like, I know I'm in a low point now, so this is a good time to like get this and like lean into it and not feel like, that I've swum until I can't see land. It's like I get where I am in this mood.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to, I probably am less likely to be like, oh, I'll bung on a bit of Frightened Rabbit, or I'll bung on some bleak film.
Yeah,
if I'm
but say, does that
mood.
Work with film and other art as well?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think what has like got me recently with films. It's actually sort of more difficult. I would say I rarely cry in films, but I will definitely be like, I will well up. And like Unbreakable is one of my most watched films, and that genuinely gets me a lot. And again, that is a story of a man who has something in him that he can't express.
Yeah.
That he doesn't know about.
Yeah.
And it is like, he's trying to connect with the world, and he's lost touch with his family, and he's lost touch with who he is as a person. And in the film is him sure, it's about him realizing he's a superhero, but it's actually about him sort of connecting with who he is and being who he can be for those he cares about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you feel about a sequel to that film that they made? Like, because this could also go into this category if it ends up liking it.
I didn't
didn't
hate Mr. Glass.
Okay.
Glass, wasn't it? I didn't hate it. I just, it doesn't, and this is I'm glad I saw it. I haven't watched Split. I'm not that bothered about Split.
Okay.
I'd say Split's better, personally, but I think it's more interesting.
Right. Yeah. I think Glass, what I loved most about Glass was the first half hour.
Yes.
I was like, cool, this is really great.
The thing that really lets it down is the end. Right?
Ends in a puddle.
Ends in a puddle in a car park. It's kind of...
And I guess I sort of get what the point of that is. I get that there's that's a swing, and it's I'd rather someone take a swing and miss than just be like, here's more, where, you go, we've killed the guy in a puddle. Look how fucking pathetic it is.
Yeah, that's true.
I like that in many ways, but it didn't necessarily work. But I like the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
That's good.
No,
so when you went and saw, I'm pivoting back again, Blade Runner 2049, were you really worried? Were you like, this shit shouldn't be made? Were you dragged to that? Because I was dragged to that.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I wasn't. I'm not a fan of the first one.
Wrong.
No, I think it's bad. I think the first one is bad.
No!
And I think Ridley Scott, and I hope that he never wants to cast me in a movie and then thinks, I'll have a little listen to what he's done in his back catalogue of podcasts.
Yeah.
But I think Ridley Scott is a boring filmmaker.
Okay, we're really going there.
Okay.
I think it's boring, and I get that he is an incredible, he's incredible at what he does and everything like that. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I just find them boring.
That's fine.
I feel a bit sad now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm very sorry. I think Alien
it's
is
okay.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's not the Ridley Scott thing, but Blade Runner? Neither of you like Blade Runner. Dave doesn't like it either.
No.
Just didn't connect to it. And I think the new one is just amazing. I think
the new one is incredible.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I agree. 2049 is amazing, but I love the first one too. No,
did you see that the first one when you were young, Stu, or did you come to it when you were a little bit older, like I did? And it's not quite.
I think I was 16, 17 when I watched it, and then I think I've watched it maybe 3 or 4 times because each time I'm like, no, I should love it because the art and the style and everything like that is so cool.
Do you watch a different version every time because there's so many cuts?
Yeah, I have watched. How many have I watched? I think I've watched more versions of Halloween 6 than I have Blade Runner, which is the one with Paul Stephen Rudd, where there is a director's cut, a theatrical cut, a producer's cut.
Wow. Okay.
Is there?
Yeah, and the producer's cut was very difficult to get hold of over the years. And my friend Al Clayton, who I run my production company with, he is obsessed with Halloween, and he managed to track it down on eBay. Someone had managed to get a copy of it years and years ago. I think they've now released it officially.
Yeah.
But it's also bad. All of the versions of Halloween 6 are bad.
I've never watched.
I think it's Halloween 6.
I've never watched that one. Is that The Return? I don't know. It's the one before H2O.
It's the one in the mid... Yeah, the one before H2O.
Yeah.
H2O, good. Good sequel. Lovely work.
Yes.
Halloween Resurrection, bad sequel.
Trick or treat, motherfucker. And the latest one, whatever they called that, I can't remember what they've. I really didn't enjoy that.
The new trilogy, Halloween Kills, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends we didn't like, yeah.
I hated
Ends.
that
I thought was bad. Yeah, I did. That was a shame.
Yeah,
but again, I like that they took swings with it and they tried to do something.
Yeah,
yeah. But they should have done it in the first of the trilogy, and then the trilogy be that big thing rather than doing it in the last movie when you don't have time to develop it and nobody watching really cares about this character that you're trying to make us care about.
Especially because the first of that trilogy is fucking great.
It is good.
It is good.
It's really great. And the ending and Jamie Lee Curtis, all of it just is oh, this is superb. And that ending, which is has Texas Chainsaw sort of, evocation to it of driving away from the fire and all of that. I'm oh, this is great. And then it was like, okay, I'll have more of it. Yeah, I am full. You filled me up with that first one.
Yeah.
It gets silly. Stu, what is your dream sequel? And I know you came up with a few options here, so we can talk about all of them. Fuck it. Come on.
I want to see the Truman Show. I want to see it 30 years later. I want to see how he's adjusted. I want a real exploration of why he's a fucking asshole now because of various trauma related to the experience he went through and how it's messed him up in a way that he is incapable of having a normal relationship with someone. And it can be like an exploration of what social media, reality TV, what it has done to a lot of us, and how it has shifted our psyches, what we look for in other people, and how we communicate with other people.
Yeah. Would you have it as a documentary, or would you have it as like a film?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I love that. A documentary following Truman.
Yeah.
And Natasha McElhone.
Because recently they've had that film about, that what happened in Japan about 20 years ago. I think it was called The Contestant. And they filmed this man in a little room. The only prizes, things he could eat or drink, is things he won. And he didn't know he was on TV, and it became massive, like a huge thing. Basically, they didn't give any clothes. And finally, he earned enough money to be freed, basically. And it went on for a while. And then they did the big reveal in a TV studio, and they the walls fell down around him. It's an amazing watch. And they get him in this little box, and they dress him, and his instinct is to take all his clothes off again, basically, because that's what he's been doing for so long. So he gets naked again, and then the box reveals itself, and he gets really confused. And it's about him after the after effects of that happening to him. Fucking brilliant! It's really good.
That really happens. This is real.
I think it's called The Contestant or something. It's literally only just come out. It'll be available to rent now on VOD.
And what you even just pitching that like as a documentary, I'm like, wow, because an idea I've had, and maybe I tweeted it or blue skied it or something, is a retrospective documentary about the making of Muppets Christmas Carol.
Brilliant.
Which is from the perspective of the Muppets themselves, like auditioning, because there's loads of stories of how like Miss Piggy was going to be one of the ghosts of Christmas past, present, future, whatever, and then they pivoted and got rid of it and made like the Muppet, new Muppets for all of the ghosts.
Yeah.
But like Miss Piggy having to, a behind the scenes doc following him around where Michael Caine has only ever shown up to his waist or whatever. So you can get around that issue. But like Miss Piggy throwing like a temper tantrum because she's not a big part in the movie. I want to see Pepe the King Prawn sort of auditioning but not getting the part because he doesn't get in until I think Muppets from Space in 1999. And but he was in Muppets Tonight on TV in 95, so he's in and around that time. So I just want to see like a proper scripted making of documentary from the early 90s of the Muppets Christmas Carol. And I think loads of films would benefit from sequels that are changing the form like that, where you go, we're doing a documentary where we're following up on this character. That's interesting, I think.
That's good. I think that'd be really good. And I think Jim Carrey would be up for it as well for the Truman Show one. Actually.
I think he would.
He seems to want to do something
he
interesting.
Says he's retired apart from interesting things and Sonic movies, it would appear. So, yeah.
Well, they pay.
Yeah, they pay, to be fair.
And sure, I don't know if you've seen Sonic 3, but he does a dance to Galvanize from Chemical Brothers with himself. There's two versions of himself. And
yes, I heard there's two versions of him.
Well, Chemical Brothers, Galvanize, boom, boom, boom. It's
probably the best bit of the movie, right?
Yeah, probably.
Hey, I like Sonic 1 and 2. I thought they were fine.
You'll love Sonic 3 then.
Fun.
Sonic 3 is also
I did want
fine,
to see it.
They didn't break change anything about that film. Okay, so what other picks have you got?
Well, I actually now can't find what the third one was that I suggested.
One was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
So Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is what we're going with.
National Treasure 3, I think, was the other one.
Yeah. I just want to complete that trilogy because the TV series doesn't do it for me.
No, we all want that.
Yeah.
I think Dave started this podcast because he wants National Treasure 3 more than anything in the world.
Yes, I want Nicolas Cage. And time is running out.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be willing to do it. I think you have to pay him well to do it.
Yeah.
But I think a good script would help.
I think, I can say it's a pleasure to be chatting with some other people who love the National Treasure series.
What's not to love?
They're brilliant.
I'd say the only people I know that love it, my sister. Me and her have watched all of them, the two in the cinema together, because we don't go to the cinema very often, but that is like, we love that.
Oh, that'd be really sweet if that happened.
Kat Sadler, creator of Such Brave Girls on BBC, incredible comedy writer, actor. She also absolutely adores it. And we watched the whole TV series together.
Oh, okay.
And we're disappointed.
Yeah.
It gets a bit teen drama-y, doesn't it, the TV series? Yeah.
It's not what I wanted from a National Treasure thing.
It's not really.
No.
There's nothing really national or a lot of treasure.
Or a good bad guy. God bless. Catherine Zeta-Jones.
She's trying, but yeah, you're right.
It's not Sean Bean puffing and blowing the house down.
Oh, it's Sean.
Is it? Yeah. Do you think we've missed the boat now for that one?
Again, you just have to do it. You can't, Book of Secrets is like, you like the first one, here's more. Whereas the third would have to be like, you like the first two, do you? We've now having to adapt to the fact that all the characters are older and things are different. The world is different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are going to actually take it in a different direction. We're not going to just try and rerun our favourite bits from the first two. We're going to do something that leans into like where the characters could theoretically be, not just like they've been in stasis between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
It's like things have changed.
Yeah.
I've become obsessed with the Curse of Oak Island. Have you ever watched this on like the History channel or something? It's a little island on the edge of Canada where the Romans or loads of people apparently buried fuckloads of treasure once. And they're trying to find it on this little island, and they keep finding all this mad stuff through history on this island. Like, why is it all here? Let's get Nicolas Cage on this fucking island. And
I love it. Yes.
He will solve it. That'd be what I would want.
Yeah.
Because what's not fun about Nicolas Cage treasure hunting? Like,
exactly.
It's all I want. It's all I want from a
movie.
I
don't need it to lean into like Indiana Jones vibes or anything like that. It doesn't have to. I want some double crosses.
Yep,
that's got to be a crucial part of it. And I want some puzzle solving. And I want some sort of outrageous sort of thing where you're like, wow, what are you even playing at?
He's got, who's he going to kidnap? What's he going to steal?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I suppose that is the thing, is like, where do you go from, he steals the Declaration of Independence, he kidnaps the president, what's the next thing? What's bigger than that?
I've got to go to the moon.
I mean, he could kidnap the president now and nobody'd want him back, so that shouldn't be a problem.
I don't know.
Yeah, what could he... It is difficult, but like you could just, you could... There's ways of doing it. There's ways of leaning into all of the fun things that Nicolas Cage has become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have him go a bit loopy.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be bigger, I don't think. Sometimes sequels are great because they're smaller, because they're more intense. I think you can do that, and I think Nicolas Cage can do that now.
Would it maybe turn into like Mummy 3 though, kind of thing? Like he's got kids, and then they want to be treasure hunters as well now, and there's extra layers because you've had the John Voight character, father son. I don't know, but I would want it.
Yeah.
That's the risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Top Gun Maverick has given me hope for everything in my life, basically.
That's true, yeah.
Even if it's been a long time, it could still be Top Gun Maverick and be brilliant. So
yeah, that is true.
Fingers crossed.
And on that point, 20-year gap, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I love this. Bang, bang. I love this choice. I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I love a noir. I love Shane Black, and my wife hates it. I don't get to watch it very often because she's like, I'm not watching it. I hate it. So. Yeah, I'm trying to convince her to give it another try.
I've tried to convince my wife that it's a Christmas movie every year, and so far she hasn't bought it.
It is a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. Yeah. It's set at Christmas. It's definitely a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Are you one of the rare people that saw it back in 2005 in the cinema? Because it got a really small release. Did you?
So I
You're one of the
I
chosen
watched it
ones.
multiple times in the cinema because I projected it. I was working as a projectionist.
Oh, wow.
Oh, brilliant.
And, projected it, hadn't heard anything about it, but liked Robert Downey Jr., liked Val Kilmer, and knew about Shane Black because when I really got into films, I was I've heard about The Last Boy Scout, and, he was the highest paid screenwriter in history. And so I was let's do this. And loved it so much that I then told my sister to watch it. So we watched it together, and we both laughing our heads off at the voiceover where he tells the extras to get out of the way because they're blocking the sign, and that sort of meta fourth wall breaking. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
The voiceover, where he the voiceover follows what he's visually looking at, where he says nipple out of the because he's looking at
the nipple
breasts, the nipple. You're just these are all fun bits, it's so rare to, and the nice guy sort of does it as well.
Oh
in
yeah,
lots of fun ways. But
really, once you watch Kiss Kiss Bang 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 and Bang Bang Bang, you can really tell he really enjoyed that world and that. And he's like, okay, fuck it, they're not going to greenlight a sequel to this. Let's try this other kind of version of it. Still to get greenlighted sequel, but
yeah, and to have Robert Downey Jr. at his peak of that, where he's not a huge star, so he's still doing that, and Val Kilmer is just so charming, and Michelle Monaghan sort of brand new on the scene, they all held their own in such a real fun way.
Yeah,
you could tell that the script was being enjoyed by all of them.
Yeah. Can I ask, when you worked in the cinema and you were projecting it, was there anyone ever in the screens watching it?
I don't think there were, actually. You're right. I didn't. Always remember it was in screen 2. I was in a 2-screener, and screen 1 was the 300-seater, and screen 2 was a 120, I think, something like that. So it was in screen 2, and it never really had that many people.
Because it really found life on DVD and stuff. I remember I was excited about it. Couldn't get to cinema to see it, but I remember seeing a picture in Empire when Downey Jr.'s hanging off the bridge, holding a hand of a dead body from a coffin, holding a gun, and they're Val Kilmer's back and he's brilliant. I was like, okay, got to see this movie. And those two, chemistry wise, fucking hell, it's just it's so good. He's maybe Val Kilmer's best film, dare I say it, more than
I think it is.
Top Gun.
I think it is. Yeah, I think easily
more than
it is,
The Island of Dr. Moreau. Why wasn't there a sequel to that?
Yep. I'd watch that documentary.
Site B. They could go to Site B.
But the worst of the worst is kept. Yeah. So what is your idea for a sequel? I'm guessing it can't be set now.
No, I would say it is. Okay. We get Robert Downey Jr. back in. There is. I would say we just have to leave Gay Paris in LA.
Yeah.
And the film takes place in New York. So we move to New York, and we do sort of, lean into noirs and, maybe 70s style New York films, but use that as a kicking off point, but with that pulpy, noirish sort of sensibility. And we do, all of the things that they did with LA, but with New York. And Robert Downey Jr.'s older, look, I can't say what the actual plot would be. That's for Shane Black to do, right? I'm going to try and find it.
You'll bring back Shane Black then?
Okay. You got to bring back Shane Black.
Good. Yeah, you have to.
I mean, Iron Man 3, let's say that's one of the best sequels out there.
That's a good film. But does Shane Black write films set in New York?
Look, he has to do it because I've fronted the money.
He's just got to, whether he wants to or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if he's ever done a film set in it.
I just want the energy to be transferred over to here. And sure, look, I'm spending more and more time in New York. I love it as a city. What a great city. I think there's a dearth of films set here. We need more films set in New York. No one ever chooses to set a film in New York.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah, you have to keep it quite noir-y, wouldn't you? Because that's kind of like the play, still the narration stuff, which easily Robert Downey Jr. can easily do, I guess. Needs a good bad guy.
Look, it needs a good bad guy. You can lean into I've just been listening to a podcast about the power broker, Robert Moses, who was like the big, like the builder of New York in many ways, and a bit of a villain in terms of like building the parks and destroying, tenement buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We can do something in that sort of like vein of like, dodgy developers, something like that.
There's plenty of opportunity for villains in New York, right? Like there's definitely that there. Would you bring Harmony back? Could you have Harmony still there? Or
absolutely,
brilliant.
Yeah. She's got to be there. As far as I'm concerned, she has to be there as part, and she's doing a slight nod to Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see it happening.
You know what? And Rebecca Ferguson is also in it. And we get all of the leading women from the Mission Impossible series to be in Kiss Kiss Bang. It's going to be called, Hey, I'm Kiss Kiss Bang Banging here.
I watch it. Rebecca Ferguson.
Also, a fun thing I found out about get Vanessa Kirby over. New York doesn't have alleyways.
What?
And there's like 3 alleyways in Manhattan. It's just not a thing because of the grid system, because the way it's set up. It's so compressed in that there's no real alleyways. It's all just streets. But the 3 that exist here are constantly used in films here. I'm
thinking Scream 7 or whatever it is recently.
I was thinking Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man's always down an alleyway somewhere. And
because writers are in LA and there's alleyways all over the place in LA. So they just write it as having this is down an alleyway. Whereas New York just largely doesn't have that many alleyways. You just have to move further out into like Queens and
I've never been to New York,
Brooklyn
so
I'm always learning as well, Stuart. Thank you.
Well, there we go. Let me be your guy.
Yeah. Have you tried to make people watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and try and... Because it's one that people might like.
My partner is writing something at the moment that has voiceover in.
Oh, brilliant.
And she's just looking for like points of references and things like that. And I was like, well, let me just play you a couple of scenes from it. And just sort of found... You couldn't find where it was on streaming, so I found a dodgy copy. I was like, look, I own it on DVD. This is fine, but the DVD it's so difficult to get the DVD player out, get it working.
Yeah.
I'll get an illegal copy just for this. Played it and immediately just absolutely wrapped by it and just being like, this is so cool, and immediately wanted to watch it all.
Yeah. Can I ask what other things she's watched or you've pointed her towards? High Fidelity? Or is that too commercial?
Oh, that's a good point. That was literally, it was like we've both been rushing around doing various things, and that literally just spiked into my mind. I was like, have a little watch of this. She's already like, loves Fleabag, and Fleabag has lots of fun. It's not voiceover, is it? But it is voiceover.
It's fourth wall breaking, and when it's done it's really, really good.
It's when it's done badly, it's horrible.
Birds of Prey is good for it. Like, Harley Quinn in Birds of Prey breaks the fourth wall a lot.
Yeah.
She's really good in that.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie, she does a great job. That fourth wall breaking. Like I say, when it's good, it's so good. When it's not good, it's easy to get wrong, I think, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yes. It comes across as smug or like pat or just like I mean, that's what go back to Blade Runner. The problem with voiceover is it can ruin a film. It may, if you can do it without voiceover, that's great. It's not to say that voiceover is inherently bad, because Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it makes the film.
Absolutely. It's charming. It's got to have that charm, I think. And it does in High Fidelity. It does in Birds of Prey. It does in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. You think it has to have that charm and that knowingness, and that's why it works. And you mentioned Fleabag, and I think that's where it's at its absolute best, is being really charming. That's the best way. Yeah, I think, and that's what I love. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think I could watch it. I could happily watch it like over and over. And I don't really rewatch films. Like my son watches, if he sees film he likes, he wants to watch it 15 times before we watch something else. Whereas I kind of would watch something and then want something new.
Yes, sure, yeah.
But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of the ones I can kind of come back to every time.
Yeah.
Those were Stuart Laws' Unequal Sequels. I mean, again, I say it every time, but what a brilliant episode. A brilliant episode with a brilliant comedian that I really like, and I didn't make a fool of myself.
Good job, sir. Well done. I'm really proud of you that you didn't. Yes, Stuart is a lovely guy and a very funny guy and very passionate about movies. So, perfect guest, maybe to be on this podcast with fantastic picks. The best being Bourne Supremacy. We haven't had that on this podcast yet. That is the first pick for Bourne Supremacy.
We haven't, and it's a good choice.
It's a solid film. I enjoy that film. I enjoyed rewatching it, so that one was good. And obviously, Stu loves it as well. Worst is a fun one with Mission Impossible 2.
I agree with him. I think it's terrible. I really do. I really hate it.
It's the one, weirdly, it's the one that hasn't aged the best, I would say, but also at the same point, it has got like this cult follower of people who really like it.
There are people who love it.
They defend it.
People that love John Woo love it, right? But for me, I don't like slow-mo very much.
No.
Like, if a movie's got slow-mo in it, it kind of puts me off. So, yeah. And I also,
it's too long.
Just Dubray Scott's a bad guy. Like, it's just not right.
Yes. So that was fun talking about Mission Impossible 2. I think we're slowly getting through all the Mission Impossibles on this podcast now. I think we've covered a few of the others, so it's fun getting through them all, especially Fallout. Someone will pick 3 at some point, Rich, so don't worry. You can really talk.
I wait for 3 because 3's what gets me. Like I wasn't a massive fan of the first one. I really didn't like the second one. And then 3 was like, whoa, okay, I'm in now.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Wow. That's a bad guy.
Incredible.
And now for his dream picks, he threw a few at us, pretty good.
Yeah.
So Truman Show was a good pick. His idea of a behind the scenes of Muppets Christmas Carol would have been a funny one.
That would have been a good one.
We doubled down on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
One of my absolute favourite movies.
What a movie. Not enough people have watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, by the way.
No. And again, I think it can be a bit Marmitey. Like some people really, some people hate it. I know a couple of people who really hate it. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is right up my street in terms of a movie. It's very dialogue heavy, which is just exactly what I like.
It's brilliantly written.
It's funny. It breaks the fourth wall. It's amazing. It's exactly my type of movie.
Also, we did record this before the sad passing of Val Kilmer.
We did, yeah.
It was so nice to rewatch that movie, and then sadly he passed away. But he's so good in it.
He is.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
That's my favourite Val Kilmer character, definitely. Gay Perry, just perfect.
Funny, witty, rude. He's great in that movie, and gonna miss having old Val Kilmer around. But what a back catalogue of movies he put out. So it was nice.
Movie stars never die, dude, because they're on the screen forever.
Well, amount of time I watched Top Gun, that man's going to live forever as well. So
exactly,
he's Iceman.
Yeah,
be my wingman any day. But thank you, Stu, for coming on and tell us your best, worst, and dream sequel. They were cracking picks. If you haven't checked out Stuart, like Rich said in the intro, go check out his Is This Guy Still Going special on YouTube. It's hilarious. It's brilliant.
He's also on tour right now, so don't forget that either. You've got Oxford, Brighton, Glasgow, Newcastle. He's all over the place. Definitely.
Very funny man. He also does the podcast Let There Be Film with past guests Nathan Darcy Roberts and Heidi Regan. So go check that podcast out as well. He also directs comedy specials. So he does pretty much all your favourite comedians' comedy specials, like the James Acaster, the last one that was been on Sky Now TV, the Nish Kumar one, I believe. He did. Very busy man, very talented man. We are putting up his sequel sessions chat free to everyone on Another Slice. It is a cracking little episode. It's one of the deepest episodes. We talk about comedy and autism.
Yeah. If you want to hear me properly fanboy out, essentially, talking to Stuart, then go to anotherslice.com/unequal sequel. You can listen to it for absolutely free. You don't have to pay the subscription. It's too good for us to keep to ourselves.
Yeah, it's a special one. So we're putting it out there for everyone to listen to it. I think you might have to sign up, but that only take a minute or two. Definitely worth half an hour of your time to listen to it. Rich, what else can you say?
Yes. Well, and while you're there, if you do want to join the subscription service, you can just click that little button. It's only $2.99 a month. It is a bargain. But like I say, for the sequel session for Stuart, it is absolutely free. It's pretty essential listening. Please go and listen to it. We'd really love you to hear that. Let us know what you thought of Stuart's picks as well. Born Supremacy, Mission Impossible 2, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Get on the social medias. Just type in Unequal Sequel into whatever social media you use. Not the bad place. We're not there. We don't do that one. The artist formerly known as Twitter. We're not on that. But everywhere else, type it in. You can find us. Let us know what you thought of Stuart's picks. We'll read out your comments in the end of month roundup, which is coming very soon. Make sure you hit the auto download button and the subscribe button. We'll drop into your pod player choice every single week and you will not miss an episode, because I guarantee you season 8 is an absolute cracker. We have incredible guests. It's very, very fun. So you're going to want to make sure we drop in there every single week. Also, if you don't do social media, we are on email. You can get us on unequalsequel@hotmail.com. Come and let us know what your thoughts about the episode and any of the other episodes we've done this month, and we'll read them out for you in our end of month roundup.
Yeah, even if I know we've got a lot of new listeners joining us all the time, working through our back catalogue, which is now hundreds, it seems.
Yeah.
If you've got anything to say about that lot as well, please send them. We'll read them out.
We'll read them out too.
We are like Will Ferrell in Anchorman. We will read out anything.
If you've just listened to the Hell No Horror episode and you've got something to say, say it, and we will listen. If you've got comments about the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, tell us. We'll read them out.
We'll read it out. That's what we do. Thank you, everyone, for listening and supporting us in all the ways you can and do. You guys are brilliant. I've got nothing else to say, so it's a bye-bye from me. Bye-bye. And it is a bye-bye from him.
Bye!
See you on the next one. Sequel to this one. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
I'm really, really proud of that Another Slice bit.
It's a great chat,
I really do want people to go and listen to it, because I actually feel like we did proper podcasting.
You get deep. I stay out of it a bit because it's not my ballpark. But I appreciate, you have history, you and Stu. Brilliant chat. Brilliant chat. I offered my wise cracks once in a while. Probably ruined the conversation. But it's a great conversation. Everyone should go check out Another Slice /unequalsequel.com.